Hey everyone, welcome to Popcorn and Gold Grindhouse. I'm reorganizing my Exploitation 70's shelf. So I got everything all pretty much, almost put together. I'll be going over a couple of my 70's that I do have already in order. Then I also have some coming to also some other features, and trying to get this shelf expanded for my 70s. So there's a lot of other features that I'm missing. So I'll try to put all those on a second shelf too also. So I'm creating a 70s shelf for exploitation drive-in movies. So let's get to it, guys. All right, so first up I have an order already. I have the limited edition Thriller, a crew picture. Christina Lindbergh. I'll be ordering the Blu-ray copy too also of it. Thriller, a crew picture. Then I also have I Spit on Your Grave, which is another one of my favorites too also. So I'm getting everything all lined up and putting everything already in order. So I've been online just trying to get everything all together in order and more medias for this thing. I knew when I started this shelf that it was going to be a very, very, very expensive collection. And I did start off with the bulk of them so far. So I'll be going over some of the ones that I did have in order so far. So first up we have Last House on the Left, one of my favorites, featuring David Hess and everything else. Everybody else is in this cast lineup. It's one of my favorites. Also next up we have Toys Are Not for Children. Another one of my favorites too also. The ultimate feature. That I got running right now. Last night I played Caged Heat and Jackson County Jail, No Place for a Lady. That's actually running right now. Then I have Women in Cages and the Big DollHouse and the Big Bird Cage running up next. So this is that Roger Corman's triple feature. Big Bird Cage, the Big DollHouse, and Women in Cages. I'm a huge fan of Roger Corman and Al Adamson and Russ Myers and everyone else. Also, we have Sweet Sugar, Phyllis Davis. Another one of my favorites. So this is what I have together so far for this particular section. And I'm adding more to also features and stuff like that. Like I'll be ordering Switchblade Sisters, Hitchhike to Hell, I think it was Barney's Kids, and some other features too also that I was missing too from this stash. Oh yeah, and Angels Wild Women, Trip with the Teacher, another version of it anyway, because I already have one from Mill Creek, so I just wanted to kind of get the DVD of it. And then there's a few other ones too also that I'm going to add to this collection. But it's growing up pretty good. And on this one, I did reverse the cover. Black Mama, White Mama. That's why I always like it when you get to reverse the cover. It's kind of badass. So I did reverse the cover on this one. Shout out to Earl Video. Looks pretty good. And this one right here, Foxy Brown. Also do have Foxy Brown on VHS too also. So those will be those two together. So I'm running out of room on this particular shelf because I just got it all together. Next up we have Coffee. Pam Grier. I'm a huge fan of the 70s. Huge fan of the 70s. To me, the 70s has the ultimate badass movies because it was like a no-holds-barred type of thing. Then shortly after that, MPA ratings started to kick in, and they started cracking down on them at the drive-in, and they wanted to cut down on the nudies. But for all the shit that we love and all the gore and the nudie, we love this kind of stuff. So I was like, that's it. I'm collecting the whole goddamn 70s. All the good ones anyway. So this is what we're doing now. The Candy Snatchers. Another one of my favorites. I'm going to be doing a double feature with this one and Hitchhike to Hell too also. Get this shelf up organized, and I think this one right here, this is the copy of Trip with a Teacher. This one was the one that was put out through Mill Creek. I just kind of bought a Blu-ray jacket and kind of made a cover up and just put it in there. So I'll be ordering the Blu-ray of this Trip with the Teacher. Then I'll be ordering Jezebels, aka Switchblade Sisters, and it'll be right behind this. So I'm kind of saving room for everything else. Another one of my favorite directors, Roger Corman. The Doll Squad. Sabrina Kincaid and all the rest of her group, Taurus and Tenna, and all the rest of the girls. Some of my badass classics. So this is what I organized so far from the 70s. The whole shelf was supposed to be the 70s, but I kind of had them mixed up with some other ones. But I'm getting them together so far. Centerfold Girls. Rest in peace to Andrew Prime. He had passed away, so in honor of him, I did a feature on my Facebook page. So if y'all guys on my Facebook page, go to my Turf in the Basement Facebook page and feel free to like and support. And click that like button. Let me know I'm doing something good. So we have Andrew Prime. Centerfold Girls. And I think it stops right there because I'm organizing more as we go along. So I think I have to put these, some of those go back over here, beyond here. So I'm kind of working on that right now. So I'll just go over the other ones because these are not 70s. So this is why I had to move them to another shelf. Well, we got Nude Nuns with Big Guns. So I normally keep all my exploitation together. But I want to kind of move these out and put them on a different shelf. So that way I have one shelf for all 70s and then another shelf all exploitation for different years. So we have Nude Nuns with Big Guns, which will be moved to a different shelf. So I think it stops right here with Andrew Prime. So I moved this up because that's the last way I was adding more stuff. So there'll be Bondage Kids and Trip with a Teacher and all of them will be behind that. None of that. Sarah Nicklin as Sister Raph. And I also do have the poster too also, gigantic poster. It's pretty much a badass exploitation classic. Alright, so then we have next up Gore Horror, which is my favorite too also. Gotta love Gore Horror. Audrey Street plays Gore Horror. She's pretty badass. Then next up we have Gorgasm. Just make sure you call up and say, I'm looking for the ultimate climax. Gorgasm. It's my favorite too also. She Kills, featuring Jody Russo. Another one of my favorites. And also we have next up, which is another one of my favorites too. Also, since I'm a film director, independent, this one was kind of funny because it's like they, it's got Lights, Camera, Blood. They kind of wanted to make a feature, but the feature wasn't real enough because they were using props and stuff like that. So they decided to use some real killing and to make a feature. And he goes, Johnny, you got all that? Get all the organs. He goes, yes, master. This is badass. This is totally funny. It kind of reminds me of, which I think I'm going to bring that over here too. One by Herschel Gordon Lewis. I think it was called Wizard of Gore. Yeah, so that's what it is right there, Wizard of Gore. So I normally run these two behind each other because it's kind of like really, really crazy when I run those two together. So, but I have this in a different thing with all the rest there. Herschel Gordon Lewis is behind Blood Feast and all that kind of stuff like that. Carnival of Blood. I normally have them in that section. But this is what I normally run as a double feature. And also that's going to be added to this feature because it's the 70s is Deranged. So I'll leave Deranged over here, which is another one of my favorites too also. I fell in love with this film because it reminds you of, well, it's inspired by the Ed Gein massacre. And it was one of the features that still to this day is the best all-time Ed Gein movie. Inspiration from the 70s, and the town's still reeling from that massacre still to this day. But this is still by far the best version that's put out in reference to Ed Gein. I believe Kane Otter tried to do it. They had one where he played as Ed Gein, but I didn't really like it. It was kind of like real born and unchopped, and they didn't really edit it well. And I was like, well, I found myself being bored after. I'm like, wow, they got Kane Otter acting like this? And it was kind of weird. So still to this day, this is the best version of the inspired story of Ed Gein. So this goes in this collection too. Deranged. I love you, Mary. All right, so next up, we're getting into another one of my favorites too also. Elsa, the Tigress of Sheba, which is another one of my favorites too also because I'm a huge fan of Diane Thorne. And I pretty much have all of her movies, especially on my hard drive. I have the rest on my hard drive anyway. But I did end up getting two of hers up front. Because the only one I don't have is the Oil Shrieks and another one of her classics too also. But I did get the main two first. So I did get her out of the way and knocked off. Chilling Erotic. Here, Elsa Roar. She'll be rolling next after Women in Cages. It's Diane Thorne, Tigress of Sheba. Then next up we have Elsa, the Wicked Warden, which is another one of my favorites. I love Diane Thorne. She's the female James Bond, as We Magazine puts her out from the early 70s. All right, so then we have Sick Girl, Leslie Andrews, which is another one of my favorites too also. I love her style And she's really into horror, and I like the way how she portrays herself in the movies, and she's really into the dead thing, you know what I mean? Because if you see her on, actually it's on this kid, if you see her trailer, how she makes up different things and stuff like that. Like she was walking in town, and she just stopped and she took a picture on the ground with some blood on her, and it's like, and people were just walking right past her. They didn't even look twice at her, but she was pretending to be dead along with all these people walking around. I thought it was very, very funny. So if y'all guys get this, you got to watch her trailers and stuff like that. Leslie Andrews, she's a monster. And this is her classic, Reborn. Sick girl. You got to have sick girl. Like, this is one of the pictures that she took, which is pretty crazy. I thought she was like very, very funny. And she's pretty much a badass. And that's the box shot. Say hello to Lizzie. Or Izzy. Yeah, Izzy. Then say goodbye, because then she kills your ass. Izzy pretty much rocks. And she created that character too also, because they asked her, well, like, what was her inspirations, and she just kind of goes with it. So whatever inspires her, she just kind of does it. And she's really, really into special effects. I'll tell you that. She's really gory. And I like her style. And I'm going to frame this and put it on a shelf too also. So this is why I pulled this out. I'm going to put this in a frame and set this beside her box set. That way I can have her all set up for the new shelf. Sick girl. Alright guys, so this is my picture of Tevye Michaels. I'm a huge fan of Tevye Michaels movies. And I pretty much have all of his movies too also. But I'm going to frame this too also and put this in a frame along with next to Lizzie. And, well, Izzy. And I keep saying Lizzie because I watched Lizzie Borden the week before that. So, yeah, Tevye Michaels, another one of my favorite directors. Next to Al Adamson. And Herschel Gordon Lewis and Roger Corman, and my all-time favorite, George Romero. So, yeah, Tevye Michaels. Another one that I added in here too also, which will be on this particular shelf, but the 70s will be removed. This is not the 70s, a 70s joint, but Shadow Dead Riot. So it'll be on this shelf because I'm moving all of these out over to the new shelf. So it stops right here at Andrew Prime. It stops right about here. And I'll be moving... this is what I got organized right here for as the 70s, and I'll be bringing more in from this section too over to behind Andrew Prime. But we have Shadow Dead Riot featuring the gorgeous and talented Carla Green, and a.k.a. Shadow, played by the brilliant and talented Tony Todd, and Shadow Dead Riot. Freak Show. And the reason why this is on here because I normally run this behind my channel 13. And guys, my channel 13 consists of anything that's gory and sort of sleazy trash like cinema. And I normally play this together as my ultimate driving wheel. I pull it out for my friends all the time, and they get a good experience for what the drive-in classics was like, because you see the age film and the... I run film wheels and stuff like that throughout the whole series, and they really get a chance to find out what the Grindhouse is like. And then as far as the age films, I run my trailers through Shock Festival, and some other trailers I make on my own too also, as I video edit and do stuff like that. So I would make trailers and put things together and do features. So I would run this predominantly for the 70s and the exploitation and stuff like that, or horror, or whatever. I would run it. And it's always something that you can look forward to, because I'm a huge fan of trailers, of course, because I'm into marketing and advertising. So trailers for me are the ultimate. But we have Shadow Dead Riot, Carla Green, and Tony Todd. Freak Show. All right, so next up, guys, we have Mark and John Polona, The Splattered Farm. Like I said, some of these are going to stay on this particular portion because they're not 70s, so they're going to stay here. This is my channel 13 section that we're going into now. Anything that's kind of like gore and not involving sex exploitation, but just involving gore horror type of carnage. We got our Splatter Farm. Another one of my favorites. Alright, so next up we have another one of my favorites too, also Channel 13, Mark and John Polonis, brothers film, a horror anthology. I'll be adding more to this section too once I put this all together. VHS Massacre and all that kind of good stuff like that. I'll be adding that to that collection. Alright, so now I can move some things around here because I think I stopped over here. Because I think Roger Corman is rolling. Roger Corman and Tevye Michaels is what's rolling right now. Alright, so we have Snuff, special edition copy, which is another one of my favorites too also. It's the bloodiest thing that ever happened in front of a camera. And it's filmed in South America where life is cheap. Another one of my favorites. Snuff. Alright, so this is where we have my Roger Corman's collection. This is in my player right now. I've been watching this twice. That's how crazy it is because I love Roger Corman's movies. Caged Heat and Jackson County Jail. And I just played it until I just fell asleep. I just ran this wheel all the way to like the damn end. Jackson County Jail, no place for a lady. Caged Heat. If they let you in, they do whatever you want. SleazyTrash. I love it. And it's like the ultimate. Jackson County Jail. Caged Heat. I want to get the poster for this too also. Big gigantic billboard poster of this on the wall. The girls and stuff like that. Because I don't know if I can show the girls, but I don't want to. I don't know, last time I showed the girls, it was kind of crazy. So, they got a big fold out on the inside of this. Roger Corman did a good job where they show all the ladies. And Jackson County Jail was my favorite too also. And I like the guy because he dubbed that term, we're cop killers. You don't know what it's like to be on the inside. And it's crazy. Because these are my favorite damn features. Roger Corman is like the ultimate. So I'm going to be moving all these around too also. So I have to take some things out and move some things around. Let me bring that back out. Well, actually, I know where it is. So I'll just move it back out for the sake of the video. All right, so we have a Roger Corman's classic triple feature. Georgia Peaches, The Great Texas Dynamite Chase, and Smokey Bites the Big Dust. I haven't seen Smokey Bites the Big Dust yet. And Georgia Peaches because I mainly bought this for The Great Texas Dynamite Chase. I'm a huge fan of the cast, and they were totally badass. Yeah, because I'm a huge fan of Claudia Jennings and Jocelyn Jones. They both are really hot, sexy. So yeah, this is pretty much badass. There's Claudia Jones right there, and Jocelyn Jones on the left hand side along with Johnny Crawford. It's pretty much badass. I love this joint. Roger did it up really good on this one. The Great Texas Dynamite Chase. She said, how did we do? It's time for a vacation. Ultimate. Roger Corman. Great Texas Dynamite Chase. Smokey Bites the Big Dust. And Georgia Peaches. And he also has that grindhouse type of feeling. Even on the inside, he does it really, really nice too also. As far as the artwork. And this is some of that artwork that's inside. There's Claudia Jennings when she was in the car with Jocelyn Jones, and she was trying to convince her to let's just get some money and get rich. You know what I mean? We're never gonna make any money out here working. Let's just do this thing if we work together. And she did. Them two were hot, very, very hot. And I'm glad they separated it too also, because that way if I pull her out, it'd be pretty much badass. And then the next one is Georgia Peaches and Smokey Bites the Big Dust. And he also has it where he has the trailers on the inside for the for each different one, and he also has the poster bills on the wall that you would normally see in the drive-in on the same featured wheel. So if you lift up the disc, you can see his poster bills. There's the Great Texas Dynamite Chase. Some of his features. There's Georgia Peaches. And he did a pretty good job of giving you that grindhouse experience. I thought he was really badass. Claudia Jennings is, she's pretty badass. And Jocelyn Jones is my ultimate baby. Corman's double feature, triple feature. All right, so next up of Corman's double feature, we have Big Bad Mama 1 and Big Bad Mama 2. Can't be anybody else, baby. I'm a huge fan of Angie Dickinson, and I love her featurettes, and she's totally badass. And on the inside, he has the drive-in theater with everybody watching the feature. I would have loved to have been one of the ones in that audience to watch this feature. Wow, it was totally badass. So this is why, guys, I had to really get really involved with this shelf right here, because it's taken me a while. It's almost like a month now of me putting this shelf together, because it's going to be one of those shelves where I'm grabbing them as they're coming in. The beautiful thing about it is media is available. Because at first I had a tough time trying to track down all the films and grab it. When I saw all these films, because I had all these for a while, the tough trouble was trying to get New Nuzzle Big Guns, because I had that for almost 2 years now. But when I first was trying to get it, I had to wait almost for like 6 months because they were sold out. And then I ended up just getting the poster. I was like, you know what, just screw it. And I ended up getting it. But I ended up buying half this shelf at one time. That was like the highest Amazon order I ever set up to order. I think it came to like $400 and some change, because I just ordered. I was like, well, I'm about to go ahead and get this 70's nailed down. Now, I knew when I was going to do that I was going to have to put up more money, because there were some features that weren't available then. See, now they're available, so that's the best thing about it. And they're coming back out and being reprinted on Blu-ray. Well, they're coming out on Blu-ray, because some of them were making it from DVD. So we were able to now get them on Blu-ray, which makes it all better for me. So we have Big Bad Mama 1 and Big Bad Mama 2. Can't be anybody else. Featuring Tom Skerritt and William Shatner and the rest of the cast. Big Bad Mama 1 and Big Bad Mama 2. Roger Corman's classics. So I'll be moving all these over behind. I guess I better move them now, huh? I'll be moving them over behind here. So I guess I better organize them there. So thank y'all guys for showing y'all support, for liking what I do and all that kind of good stuff, and giving me good likes. Feel free to click that like button and subscribe, guys, if you like what I do. And let's talk about some movies, especially some movies that you have in your collection and how you're organizing your shelves and all that kind of good stuff. And I would love to know what you're watching. And I got a lot of reviews too, also for Toys Are Not for Children, because I had reviewed the booklet too, also, which comes inside of here. And I had told a lot of people about the exploitation part of Toys Are Not for Children. And the reason why is because, guys, this feature is kind of like, a lot of people kind of overlook this. I don't know why, because this is a badass feature. And Toys Are Not for Children, it means just that. Toys Are Not for Children. But I love the title, because you can imagine toys. You can even, it's a lot of things when you sing the word toys. It's a playful thing and it's a pleasure thing. So if you run with the title and add it with a little bit of creative marketing behind it, you have a good chance for making it a successful film, especially in the drive-in or any kind of other feature. And then add the fact that they're not for children, opposed to toys are for children. Because he could have said that toys are for children, but he says no, toys are not for children. And you the first thing in your mind, you're like, toys are not for children. All children play with toys, but in this feature, sex exploitation, toys are not for children, because she finds out that toys can become addictive, and when you're addicted to toys, you are sometimes prone to become obsessed. And when you're obsessed with toys, they can end up leading you to trouble. So I'm going to show you what the booklet looks like for Toys Are Not for Children. Beautifully done. All right, so we'll be going over the booklet of Toys Are Not for Children. Apologize about the glare, guys. I'll try to move it around as best I can. It's beautiful artwork on this, and this is a good shot too of her in her room. And that doll right there that you see her that's in the bed with her is the one her father gave her. And her storyline is that her father raped her when she was young, and the mother caught him raping her, and tried to keep her away from him. And shortly after that, the father went one way and the mother went another way, and she lost contact with her mother. She developed a fascination for toys. She always loved toys, but those were real toys then. Then later on, she sort of found out about this lady that she was a friend of hers, and she idolized her because she was a whore. And this is her pimp. And he wanted to sleep with her, just like any other man did. And because she was gorgeous, and he wanted to try out the merchandise before he put her out there. And this is when they kind of had their encounter. But the lady didn't know that, so she comes home and finds out that she had tampered with her, because the whore didn't want the girl out there to be a whore, because she didn't want her introduced into that life. Okay, so right as that's happening, she gets a job at a toy store where this guy runs the toy store. His name is Andy, and he gives her a job at a toy store because he fell in love with her. And he loved toys too also as a kid, but really toys. You know, and he was a toy collector, and he really was into the inspiration that, you know, you can have so much joy with just collecting toys. So they both had their most fantastic job in the world by just working in a toy store full of toys. But when they fell in love with each other, it became almost getting serious. And then shortly after that, he married her, or proposed to her, not knowing that she really loved toys. Okay, here's the lady that's the hooker, and she ended up receiving a phone call from the other lady saying that she wanted to visit her father. And because at first I thought this was her mother at first, but apparently it wasn't. I don't think so. I have to pretty much watch it again because it's been a while since I've seen this. But I think, because I was having my suspicion, like, is she her mother? But I don't think so. She just was a hooker who was working for this guy. See, it gets really, really serious when you get into Grindhouse, doesn't it? Okay, here we go. It's like I'm trying to hold the camera and do this with one hand. Okay, here's the guy right here. So she's working for this guy here. He's the pimp, and she was the prostitute, his lead prostitute. But she kind of got old now, and he wanted fresh meat, so he decided to try her out. But the whole time she's married to Johnny. And he really loved her, and he wanted her, you know, wanted them to grow up and just, you know, and have a normal life. But what he didn't know was she loved toys. So she receives a phone call in reference to why that her father wanted to see her, and she kind of found out. I think yes, she knows her mother. I mean, she knows her father because I think she probably dated him one time as a trick, and so she asked, could she contact her father because she wanted to meet him. And then when she contacted her father, that's the one I can't show. When she contacted her father wanted to do the same thing like he did to her always before, was to pretty much hook up with her. And that's the doll that he gave her. And so it was one guy that she was dating. I think he called next, and he was her next trick. And she likes for him to call her daddy. I mean, he likes for her to call him daddy. And she really got into it. And the guy's like, okay, we're just pretending here. So she was like, well, let's have more fun. So they were running around the house kind of naked and having all kind of fun. And he really enjoyed it. The next you know, he went and told all the rest of the guys, like, man, you got to check this girl out. She's really a play girl. But they didn't know that she likes to play, but play as in really play. Because they was just thought, oh, she just like toys, blah, blah, you know, she's all right. But no, she really was into the shit. So every guy kind of wanted to have sex with her because you could live out your fantasy with her. And she made a lot of money doing it. She made so much money, actually. She went and got her own house, and she started dressing differently and everything else. And then this lady that's on the phone, she started getting worried. Because she was like, she started getting worried because she the one who was actually in charge of her. And she started getting worried, like, man, I don't know, this girl is really into this stuff, like, you know, and then she wanted to keep her whole. So one day they're out and they're in the cafe, and she told her, I wanted to be a hooker like you. I mean, I want to be a successful hooker like you. And everybody's looking at her like, she was like, watch your mouth, you can't speak so loud. And she's like, well, I'm sorry, you know, it's fun, guys, and all this kind of stuff like that. But she didn't know that she loved to play, you know, with toys. And this is why I say that this film is an ultimate. I mean, the story is kind of weird because it goes back and forth, back and forth. I must have watched this thing so many times, it's totally ridiculous. It's one of my favorites. So I had to do a spotlight on Toys Are Not for Children. And the reason why is because this is a hidden gem, you know. So guys, if y'all don't have this in your collection, you need to kind of get this in your collection. Toys Are Not for Children. It's definitely a well-rounded feature. And also, guys, if you ever get a chance, check out Straight On Till Morning. Came out in 1972. That's also a good feature too. Also, where she's trying to get pregnant and have a whole bunch of kids and stuff like that. So it's called Straight On Till Morning. Came out in 1972. You guys check that out. I actually have that inside of here because I keep them both together as a double feature. But Toys Are Not for Children, one of my favorites. All-time features. So guys, here's that feature I was telling you about, Straight On Till Morning. Also keep those two together too also, along with the Toys Are Not for Children. I believe this is, also reversible artwork. Let me take out Straight On Till Morning. Yeah, this is also reversible artwork. Cover. Also. So that's the original poster shot for Toys Are Not for Children. One of my favorite features. Like I said, inside I always keep Straight On Till Morning, which is another one of my favorites. Toys Are Not for Children. Sorry guys, another one of my features too also that I wanted to bring up too also. Last night's feature wheel, Big Bird Cage, Women in Cages also again. And the Big DollHouse. So this is my Roger Corman's section. So I just kind of want to do a review, in-depth review on this too also, because I didn't get a chance to do it before. And this is some of the poster bills for that feature. Yeah, so here's that poster bill. We got a Big Bird Cage, Big DollHouse. And these were some of the drive-in posters that you would see in the drive-in lobby area. Women in Cages. That's Pam Grier. There's Roberta Gann and Judy Collins. And there's the poster bills for it all around the world. And there's another one too also for where the first time it played at Twilight Drive-In. They were featuring a 3 Super system where they played this Women in Cages Big DollHouse and yeah, the student. And they ran this Roger Corman's wheel all the way through the Starlight Drive-In during that time. Thought it was pretty badass. Yeah, so I had to review that for my Roger Corman feature since it's playing right now. Alright guys, so next up we have Reform Schoolgirls, even though this came out in the 90s. I mean the 80s, so then we got Fraternity Vacation. I haven't seen that yet, but I mainly bought it for Reform Schoolgirls. And this is my ultimate. And you could check out the ultimate kitty stomp in this damn thing. And it also features the gorgeous and talented Women Behind Bars featurette. And Sybil Dowling plays also as the head mistress. And she did a good job. I'm a huge fan of Sybil Dowling. I have a lot of her movies too also from the early 80s type of stuff. So I'll be going over her features some other time. But for right now, I kind of wanted to get this shelf straightened out because this is the type of year where I start to watch all of my exploitation drive-in features. I mean, I've been on this wheel. I mean, this is the largest thing ever because since I just constructed a new shelf, I've been on this 70s thing for the past 3 months. This was way before Halloween had came. And I think I did a wheel too also for Exploitation 70s. So y'all guys check that out. It's called None of That. Exploitation in honor of None of That. So y'all guys check that out. So this is a wheel that contains a lot of, like I say, 70s stuff because I mainly collect a lot of 70s stuff. And you can't help but to get other years too also of other movies because they just predominantly came out in those particular years. But I'm mainly tracking down the 70s features. So we got Reform Schoolgirls featuring Sybil Dowling and the rest of the girls. Because you're all wankers. Your time's double. So's your chin. Alright guys, so next up, another Ted V. Michaels classic, 10 Violent Women. And these women decided to go into the mining industry and decided that it didn't work out for them and decided to just go and rob banks. Which I thought was very funny because it reminds you of the old time movies again. And I thought it was very funny because these women were out for adventure and they wanted the lifestyle because they were always kind of like behind men and kind of like failing in business adventures one after the other. And they were out of money and they thought they could find gold. They thought they could just do a lot of stuff. But overall, they end up finding pleasure in taking pleasure and stealing. And I thought it was very, very funny. And like I said, it reminds me of the Great Texas Dynamite Chase too, also because actually I played them as a double wheel too, also the Great Texas Dynamite Chase along with 10 Violent Women. And she busts in the bank, says, "I'd like to withdraw $20,000 from your vault." And but this lady, she comes in there and she steals $10 million in diamonds from this guy, his best collection. I thought this was kind of funny. It's an ultimate Tevye Michaels classic, because all the stuff that he makes anyway are classics. And like I said, this is the reason why I want to get this shelf put together. Don't forget, guys, click that like button and show me some love, and let's talk about some movies that you like. And this is the ultimate exploitation wheel, 70s, updated. Now I'm trying to get all this stuff put together, and I take very, very elusive pride in collecting these features. 10 Violent Women, Tevye Michaels. All right, so next up we have another classic, Girl in Gold Boots. I actually premiered this on my Facebook channel too also. And did a TV spot for this too also on my collection channel. And it predominantly rode pretty much successfully. Everybody pretty much gave it good likes, and everybody's a huge fan of her classics. And she's also a director too also. And she directed several movies too also. I think she did Death Race 2000, I believe. And she's a talented director. And she stars in her own films, of course. Lisa McRae is her name, and she's gorgeous. Tevye Michaels. I don't know what it is. Tevye Michaels and Roger Corman and Russ Myers, they have a good eye for beauty, and they always find the best dolls to play in their movies. So this is why they became features. And like I said, I ended up falling in love with those directors, and it kind of inspired me to do my thing. This is why I'm out doing my independent films and stuff like that. So, but to me, nothing compares to the 70s. I mean, the 70s really kick ass, and like I said, it was just no holds barred. And like I said, I was born in the 70s. Actually, I was born in 1972, and I grew up checking out some of these features, even though my parents was like, "Oh, you can't watch this. This is rated X. This is rated R." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." So when they leave, I'm like, I'm popping it in. Then there was a time where you could go and you could rent this at the store. My uncle, he was the type that he had a nice collection too, and he was like, "What you want to see?" So because you know back in the days in the video store, your kids, you couldn't go over to the section where the exploitation was. So I would give him a list of what exploitation I was looking for, and he'd go out and he'd rent it, and then I can go home, we can watch it. And he was like, "Just make sure you rewind it," because that's when like VHS was very, very popular. And I have a huge VHS collection too also. So they'll be featured on the shelves along with everything else. This is why every shelf that I do have, I always put VHS on top of it. So we have Lisa McRae and Girl in Gold Boots. Beautifully done by Tevye Michaels. All right, so next up is Wendell Curry, John Carradine, and Tora Santana in Astro Zombies. This film is one of my favorites too also. And I also do have Faster Baby Kill Kill. I also do have, so just because you don't see it here doesn't mean I don't have it. I'm working on another shelf to put all of them together, and I'm kind of spacing these videos out where I'll bring out the collection as needed when the shelf gets complete. So right now I'm moving out the 70s and leaving behind some of the 80s and stuff like that, so that way I have an 80s shelf and I have a 70s shelf. So this is what I'm doing now. So as you can see, I moved some things around already, and I'm stacking them as we need. So we have Wendell Curry, John Carradine, and Tora Santana in Astro Zombies. And like I said, I do have Faster Baby Kill Kill. I do also have SuperVixens. I have Russ Myers Up. I also have Valley Beyond the Dolls. And I also do have, only thing I don't have, I have to get now, it's a movie called Pickup, Truck Stop Women, like I said, Barney's Kids, and I think I have to get also Elgar's House of Shame, which is another one that I'm going to get. Because I'm trying to remember as I go along. I had them out on my tablet too also. And then I have to update my Trip with the Teacher, because I do have it, the Mill Creek version, which is not bad. It's a good transfer, but I kind of want to have the Blu-ray. So some things that were DVD, I'm phasing them out to Blu-ray. So as they come out on Blu-ray, I would get them. And then also have to get Switchblade Sisters, aka Jezebel. And also have to get it's another movie called I believe that came out in 1965. It'll come to me in a minute, but I just reviewed the trailer earlier, but I have to get that film too also. So it's a couple of features that I do have to get nailed down to also. Now I also do have another feature too also. It's called The Sadist. I do have that film too also. Actually, if I don't find it, I'm just going to burn my own copy because I do have it. And that's one of my favorites too, Archie Hall Jr. He was young at the time when he made that feature, and he did a pretty good job. And I always loved that feature. You think you're smart, don't you, teacher? It's one of my favorites. So Wendell Curry and John Curtin, Tori Santana, Astro Zombies. Another one of my favorites. So I guess I better put this in where she belongs. And then I have to move those two over too, because those two over because they are 70s, and then this one's 72 also. So this one stays because it's the 80s, I mean the 2000s. So this is Bitch Slap, and it's another one of my favorites too also. And on here inside of here I have a copy of Machete. So this is why they stay together, because I normally run them as a double featured wheel. So we have Bitch Slap. So that stays. So I have to take out Elsa the Wicked Warden. Move her behind Tori Santana. I have to take out Snuff. Okay, so it's good enough. It's coming together. It's coming together. I'm moving it around so far. It's coming together. All right, so let's move Foxy Brown over. I remember having this for a very, very long time. And I also have another one too, also, The Exterminator, which is supposed to be over here too. I have to pretty much get that shelf together. All right, guys, so here's that copy of Exterminator on VHS. It's another one of my favorites too also. Beautifully done. So we have Pam Grier, Foxy Brown on VHS. All right, so let's move Pam Grier over. All right, so we have some of the Black Exploitation, which is all 70s. So we have Fred Williamson, Black Caesar. Yeah, so we have Fred Williamson, Black Caesar. Another one of my favorites, crime syndicate type stuff. And he's pretty much ultimate badass when it comes to doing a hit and a job. And I'm a huge fan of his movies. And also, he played in a lot of drive-ins, so it was like he was constantly rolling. And I'll show y'all guys which ones that kind of that was playing in the drive-ins constantly. So I'll take those out. You got Hell Up in Harlem, which is another one of my favorites too also. That kind of was like the drive-in ultimate wheel. So it was like they all kind of like had their time in the drive-in as featured wheels, and some of them rode with other features too also. Then we also have Superfly, which is another one of my favorites too also. Looking for the big one, baby. You get it? The big one. It's Ron O'Neal. All the rest of the cast. And you talking about 70s exploitation. This is like totally badass. And then on Hell Up in Harlem, which is my favorite too also. And then I kind of like always keep them together as my featured wheel shelf. And then next up we have Bucktown. Fred Williamson and Pam Grier. Another one of my favorites too also. So I'll be moving them down to the 70s section. All right, next up we have Vigilante, Robert Foster and Fred Williamson again. It's another one of my badass features. So I'll be moving those down too also. And then we also have Tamara Dobson as Cleopatra Jones, featuring Shelley Winters as Mommy. Another one of my favorites also. Yeah, everybody's in here too also. We have all the rest of the features too also inside of here. Yeah. Because I believe the same guy who played in Cleopatra, who played in Foxy Brown is in here too also. Just trying to remember his name. But yeah, one of my features. Because I was thinking Antonio Ferguson. So we have Planet Terror, Robert Rodriguez. Another one of my favorites too also. And then, because those are the ones that stay here, Planet Terror and Death Proof, I normally run them two together too also. Quentin Tarantino. And then also I have one of my favorites by the gorgeous and talented Zoe Bell, Angel of Death, unrated and unedited. And let me go ahead and show Planet Terror. That's Planet Terror. See, because all these were in the 2000s, so I'm going to save these on this particular shelf. So they're going to stay on this shelf. And then the 70s will move out to another shelf. That's why I'm organizing them first and then moving them up to another shelf. And that's Death Proof, Quentin Tarantino. Death Proof. And then also I added, rest in peace to Sid Haig, 3 from Hell, Rob Zombie. So we're moving out and got everything all pretty much organized. I just want to thank y'all guys for checking me out. Popcorn and Gore Gothic Grindhouse. Feel free to click that like button and subscribe, and let me know I'm doing something really good. And let's talk about some movies, guys, that you like from your favorite directors or what you're watching on your favorite wheel. And if you guys like what I do and want to kind of leave me a message and talk about some movies, feel free to do that. And the holidays coming up, and we're approaching Christmas now, so this is how I'm going to bring Christmas in with Roger Corman, Tevye Michaels, and all the rest of the directors, my favorites. And Thank y'all guys for checking me out. So this would be, I guess, my re-advised collection of me just ordering things, because I'm waiting on Amazon and ordering media too also in from Black Friday and all that kind of good stuff. So when media comes in, I'll do the second shelf and everything all put together. So for right now, this is what I do have already put together, and moving them out, like I said, separating the 70s out of my 80s, because I kind of crossed over into some other years. So I'm moving them out into the other shelf since I had purchased a new shelf already. So I'm working on the Exploitation 70s shelf. And like I said, it'll include artwork, and it'll include figurines and some pictures from my favorite directors and some stills from the movie cast and all that kind of good stuff. And then once that shelf is complete, I'll show that shelf off. So guys, until next time, here from Popcorn and Gore Gothic Grindhouse, you guys have a safe and happy holidays. And as always, click that like button and subscribe. And welcome to my channel for all y'all new subscribers. And I'll see y'all on the next wheel. And as always, keep the projector rolling and keep collecting. Peace.